All right, welcome back, Truth Seeker. It is Tuesday morning, September 21st, 2021. NFL Week 2 is all the way over, so is college football Week 3. And once again, we absolutely killed it, as we do year after year, taking advantage of the rigged games. And yes, college football is rigged 100%. We prove it every week, and so is the NFL. And I just want to play a little clip from... This was streamed live on September 16th on Patreon, right at the beginning of the stream, where we first began looking at the games for the week. And I just want you to hear what I said about Monday Night Football. I wanted to talk about Monday Night Football first, because it had to do with how the whole week was rigged. And we'll bring this all together, but let me go back and play this clip. Again, let me zoom in so you can see it. Streamed live on September 16th, 2021. And what's annoying about YouTube is if I make this video public, it'll change the publishing date to the day that I make it public. It wasn't like that years ago. I know that YouTube did this on purpose to create the exact kind of scenario where if I make this video public, people will be like, oh, you put this out after the fact. It's just so dumb that YouTube did this. Back in the day, if I would have made this public, it would have never changed the publishing date. But this was streamed live on September 16th, and just pay attention. The first game I want to start with when we just talk about this week's games, before we even get to Thursday Night Football, I want to show you what looks like it's going on Monday Night Football. It looks like this is super synced up with Pope Francis, and we've seen a number of sports rituals synced up with Pope Francis. This Monday Night Football game is interesting because it's the day leaving 102 days left in the year, and this is the 102nd NFL season. You have these classic franchises from right around Chicago where the NFL was born. You got them playing each other. If you guys don't know that, the NFL started in Chicago. That's why the only teams that are 102 years old that have been in 102 seasons this year are the Bears and the Cardinals, who are originally from Chicago. And I'm still kicking myself for doubting the Cardinals last week. We knew this could be a very special season for them with Bill Bidwell dying on 10/2 like 102. And then sure enough, they come out and blow away Tennessee. And I believe they were underdogs just barely on the road against Tennessee. And they smoked them. But look at this. Look at this. But we'll talk more about this game. But if the favorite Packers win, which is no fun. Well, when we get to it, I'll show you where it might be worth $1 to go on the lines. But this is probably going through Pope Francis. If the Lions coach loses, he's going to be 5-9. And if the Packers coach wins, he's going to be 27-7, like 277-59. Their records. The coaches, 277 is the 59th prime. Pope Francis equals 59, and this game is exactly 277 days after Pope Francis' 59th birthday. And don't forget, the 59th presidential election, which Biden just won, becoming number 46, was 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday, and Catholics 46. And Pope Benedict stepped down for Pope Francis on February 28th, the 59th day of the year. So that looks to be the ritual. Green Bay Packers equals the Jesuit order, forwards and backwards, 69-84. Okay, there's even more. It goes on from there. But notice also what happened in Monday Night Football. MNF 33, number 33, who has the same birthday as the quarterback. Did you know that Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Jones both have the exact same birthday, December 2nd, 122, like Pope Francis is also 122? And what were they talking about last night as he scored his 4 touchdowns? How his dad died on 4-6, like Catholics 46? But look at what the score of the game was. Well, hold on. As I explain every week, the entire NFL is a rigged script. So later that day was Thursday Night Football, and notice what the score of that game was. Washington 30, New York Giants 29. We were on Washington, slight favorite. 59 points, right? So that was a clue right away, because so often the first game of the week, Thursday Night Football, is perfectly synced with Monday Night Football because the entire league is a scripted ritual together, just like the entire league shares profits. And, the week prior, the black quarterbacks dominated the white quarterbacks. The only 2 white quarterbacks to beat black quarterbacks happened on Thursday Night Football, Brady over Dak, and then Monday Night Football, Derek Carr over Lamar Jackson. And yes, we did like Mahomes to lose to Lamar Jackson this week. It was all part of the league-wide ritual. But look at what the score of the Monday Night Football game was. The score of the Monday Night Football game was 35-17. Oh my goodness, could we get a bigger tribute to the Pope and the Catholic Church than 35-17? Remember, when you think Green Bay, you think Vince Lombardi, who died at Jesuit Georgetown one day before the season began. But 35-17, that's 52 points. Again, if you're new here, the entire language, the English language, that is, the calendar that we're on, the Gregorian calendar, it's all from the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church is responsible for all of it. And I just want you to see that in the most simple cipher, Pope is 52, right? Like how the calendar, the Gregorian calendar that we're on, the 365 12-month calendar, it has 52 weeks in it, and it's dedicated to the Pope. And this game was perfectly synced with Pope Francis. It was 277 days after his December 17th birthday. That's the 59th prime. The Packers coach became 27-7. The Lions coach fell to 5-9, right? 277, the 59th prime. And these numbers are used in all sorts of rituals. If you've read my book, Number Games 9/11 to Coronavirus, Chapter 1, I talk about 277 and 59 and the establishment of this nation by the Jesuits and Masons. Modern Freemasonry is created by the Jesuits. So you get 52 points in the game, right? And if you're new here, we have the base ciphers, the alphabetic order forwards and backwards with the rules of numerology. You see how when you run the alphabetic order in reverse, Pope is 56? This game was on the 263rd day of the year, which is the 56th prime. And the Packers put away the game on the highlight that I uploaded last night. If you go to the video I uploaded before this, it was an 11-play drive that ended with a touchdown with an 11-yard reception. And what was the one other thing I'm forgetting about that play? 11-yard. There was 11 plays, 11-yard touchdown. There was one more 11 they did in the thing. I can't even think what it was. But notice how Pope also has the Gematria of 11. Again, Gematria is very simple. It's the alphabetic order forwards and backwards with the rules numerology. You see how Pope's 25 in the most pure cipher? Do you remember before Super Bowl 51, I uploaded the video about how Pope Francis blessed Super Bowl 51? And I pointed out how Super Bowl 51 was on Pope Francis's 51st day of his age. And it was the Falcons and the Patriots, the good Catholic boy Tom Brady versus the Jesuit Matt Ryan, who went to Boston College. But that game was on February 5th, 2/5. The Pope blessed it. Pope can be written 25 or 52. That day, Brady and Belichick improved to 5-2 in Super Bowls, and the Falcons gave up the 25-point lead on 2/5. And that's the only Super Bowl I've seen Pope Francis bless. But remember, Arthur Blank, who owns the Falcons, his birthday is September 27th, the same day the Jesuits are recognized by Rome in history. That's because it's the day leaving 95 days left in the year, and the Jesuits' original purpose was to counter the 95 Theses, which was the Protestant uprising against Catholic and Jewish tyranny. And then that's why the Jesuits were created, merging Catholicism and Judaism into the unholy alliance that still dominates this world today. And that's also why Martin Luther King Jr., who assumed the name after the Protestant Reformation leader, was assassinated on the 95th day of 1968, 3 days before the Club of Rome was established. Again, all roads lead to Rome, and that's also why they did that ritual for Super Bowl 51, because Rome is 51. Rome, the Roman Catholic Church, the Jesuits, the Mafia, all this stuff's related, all out of Italy. And with regards to the score being 35 for the winning team, of course, the Packers, they won the first ever Super Bowl over the Chiefs with 35 points. And again, if you're new here, when I first began, I only knew these two ciphers. I learned them from Manly P. Hall's The Secret Teachings of All Ages. Just the alphabetic order and the alphabetic order with the rules numerology. Manly P. Hall says that dark blue cipher is the most pure cipher. Catholic equals 35 in that cipher. And you know where the Vatican is, they call it the Holy See, and they spell C like C with your I. Holy See, 35, right? And I, like your I, EYE, is 35, right? And the Vatican has the massive statue of a pine cone. On their flag, it has the crown that looks like a pine cone as well. It's because they say the pine cone is like the pineal gland in your eye. It looks very, or not in your eye, in your brain, your mind's eye, your pineal gland, your mind's eye. You have 3 eyes, 2 on your face and 1 in your mind. You close your eyes, you can still see in your mind. 3 eyes. How many letters in the word eye? And again, none of this stuff's by accident. The language in the calendar comes from the Catholic Church. We're living in their circus. The NFL is the modern-day Roman Colosseum. And in this game, in tribute to the Pope, who sits on the throne in the Holy See, you get this perfectly synced up game with them, which is nothing new. They do this all the time in sports. They sync up the news and the sports with Pope Francis all the time. We're documenting this all the time. And, the people in the community who follow the work, the reason they're willing to bet on these placements is because for 8 straight years, I've been showing people how good this knowledge is and how you can call futures in games like nobody else. And again, I mean, it was obvious at the beginning of the week. This looked like it was a tribute to the Pope. And again, 52 points. I mean, it just couldn't be any more obvious. How many cards in the deck, right? 52. It's a game number. Rig games, rig card games, ring football games, all by a code. The difference of 18 points, IHS is 18. It's the Jesuit acronym. IHS, ESPN 18, Monday Night Football. And, throughout the game, they're telling you about the death of Aaron Jones's father on April 6th. Again, Catholics 46. And with regards to 59, we just had the 59th presidential election. I told you a year in advance why Biden would win, why he would be number 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday. Pope Francis in the most pure cipher is 59. The 59th election was exactly 46 weeks after Pope Francis' birthday. Joe Biden becomes the second Catholic president, number 46. And again, in Gematria, Catholic 46, 35. JFK, the first Catholic president, number 35, killed at age 46. Joe Biden, the second Catholic president, number 46, inaugurated on the 35th day of Pope Francis' age, you see? And don't forget, Beau Biden, his son, died at age 46. And then on this game in tribute to the Pope, the man who scores all the touchdowns, you're hearing about how his dad died on April 6th, 4-6. Supposedly from the virus. Virus is 46 as well. Again, this whole event 2.0, this whole pandemic is all Catholic Jesuit, which we've been calling out from the beginning. If you doubt that, you really should read my book. It's undeniable, you guys. If you doubt it, you doubt the truth. Know that about yourself. You doubt the truth if you don't know that this entire pandemic is the work of the Catholic Church and the Jesuits, because it is. They're who control this world. Control way more than the NFL. They're older than this nation. They're more established than this nation. And they've been just carving up the world and creating it, along their timeline according to their code. But virus, 26 as well in there. You see that? Remember in that same cipher, COVID's 26. Remember in Hebrew, COVID means Kobe. Happened right after Kobe's death on the 26th. Bryant, 26, dead on the 37-year anniversary of Bear Bryant, the football coach. Alabama coach right before Saban passes him with his 7th championship in the year of sevens. But COVID, the COVID 26, virus 26, blame it on China 26. Aaron Jones is 26 years old when he loses his dad, supposedly from the virus on 4-6, which they got to bring up to you during this Super Bowl that's in tribute, or not Super Bowl, but Monday Night Football game that's in tribute to the Catholic Pope. And then he scores 4 touchdowns. Before Monday Night Football was played, go over to GematriaEffectNews. The video I just uploaded on Gabby Petito just made a big point again. And it's a lesson I've taught a million times over the years, but a big point about 4 in death. 4 is the number of death. From Mandarin Chinese, from Japanese, you pronounce the number 4 the same way you pronounce death. He scores 4 touchdowns while they're talking about his dead dad from COVID, right? And remember what happened last week in the NFL with COVID? You had 4 quarterbacks lose who were all unvaccinated, right? The mainstream media is trying to tell you that you're a loser if you don't go out and get criminal Pfizer's vaccine. And then the 4 quarterbacks who aren't vaccinated are all losers, right? It's because it's all a joke. Just like 9/11 Patriot Act Patriots. The sports are used to program you with the same stuff they're programming in the news. That's why they're always bringing up the same shit in the downtime, the advertisements, the little news bits. It's all programming, you guys. They're trying to get the mind's eye of the masses everywhere and get them on board with the same programming everywhere, from the NFL to the nightly news. Last week on Monday Night Football, I was saying it's not an accident the game's in Vegas between the team from Oakland originally, who's now in Vegas, and then against the team from Baltimore when it's the 25-year anniversary of Tupac's death. You know, Ravens 25. Tupac grew up in Baltimore, moved to Oakland, died in Vegas. The NFL and the WWE are always synced together. What was going on in the WWE that same night? They're having some championship for Monday, and who wins it? Big E. Big E wins the WWE championship while you got the Tupac Bowl going on Monday Night Football. I mean, Tupac and Big E. I mean, come on, man. This stuff is such a just crystal clear mockery of everybody's existence. Go back to John Cena a few years opening up the ESPYs, showing how all of sports are rigged, no different than wrestling, and laughing about it. And again, just putting the truth in front of your face and making you think like, oh, come on, man. They don't rig the NFL. Those guys get out there and play hard. Yeah, you play hard for rigged sports. You got to make it look real. It's theater. It's athletic theater. Just so many dummies would be like, well, then why don't they just get anybody to play? You know, that's like how a retard thinks. Why don't they just get anybody to do an acting? Would you just go out and watch any movie? You like watching Denzel movies because he's good at acting, right? You like watching Lamar Jackson play football because he's good at playing football. Come on, dummy. Act like your head is not securely all the way up your asshole. Act like you have a brain and start thinking. Stop regurgitating bullshit and just making dumb, senseless comments, because this is what America is. I know because for 20 years I've been dead on about everything, calling out everything exactly the way it is, and I've been talking to retards, fucking losers who respond with just bullshit back, and I'm just like, you're not even worth my time, swine. Can't tell you how many times I've had to say that. But here, Giants in Washington, this was a pretty easy call. I knew ESPN was duping everybody. See, ESPN caused everybody to lose their money on this game for all the retards who watch ESPN and think their gambling advice is helpful. If you notice, ESPN gives the wrong advice every single fucking day for gambling, yet somehow people must tune in and still take their advice because they give it out every day, and it's just so obvious. But if you were watching before Thursday Night Football, all day on ESPN, every single person they had on there is why the Washington was going to beat New York handily. You know, New York would have no chance against this Washington front, wouldn't even be able to move the ball. They'd be lucky to score 14 points. Man, they had 14 points in what? You know, I guess they only had 10 in the first half, but anyway, they went well past 14, and I knew almost for certain that the Giants would cover the spread, which was 3.5 points, because all day ESPN was selling the opposite. But we also liked Washington to win the game, and it was just this simple. When you write out the Jesuit order, who runs the show, you see how in the two most classic ciphers, it's 177.69. Again, these are your best ciphers anyway. This was the 177th regular season meeting between the Giants and Redskins, and guess what win the Redskins picked up? If you guess 69, you're exactly right. They got their 69th win in the 177th game in the first game of the week that looked like it was a week all about the Pope and prophecy and would end with the big Pope ritual on Monday Night Football, which it did. Again, we're in the time of the first Jesuit Pope, Pope Francis. So Redskins pick up the 69th win in the 177th meeting versus the Giants, which means the Giants have absolutely dominated that series historically. And the other thing was the Giants, they picked up their 13th loss on TNF. That day was 16/9, like 169 has a square root of 13. TNF's 13 in the most pure. You see how TNF's 40 in the most simple? The Redskins got their 40th home win all time. And I know they don't call them the Redskins anymore, but the football team, they still do the Gematria of Washington Redskins for their riddles, I'll tell you that much. The Washington football team numbers don't seem to be super important. I've seen them do a few 67s with the football team so far since that's been their name. But TNF 40. Washington picked up their 40th home win versus the Giants on TNF. That's how they do it, week after week. The Bengals and the Bears, Andy Dalton started this game, right? The redhead who used to play for orange hair, used to play for the Bengals with the orange helmet. Now he's on the Bears, right? He's on the Bears. Andy Dalton just picked up his 75th career win in this game. I know he got injured, but Cincinnati Bengals is 75 in the most pure. Andy Dalton came in with 74 wins, and we said, come on, man. He's playing his old team and can pick up his 75th win? Easy. This is free money. Boom. Free money in the pocket. And, Dalton's 75th win over the old team. Just ask yourself, what are the odds of that Andy Dalton could pick up his 75th career win against his old team? What are the odds? They're about 1 in 32. Especially now that he's in the NFC and he just happened to be playing the AFC Bengals that day. These teams don't meet a lot. The Texans and the Browns, I thought the Texans had a chance to upset here, but I said, take them with the points. They should cover the spread. They had a chance to upset. If there was a game that was surprising to me this NFL week, it was that the Texans didn't upset the Browns, even though they were a 13-point underdog. And the reason why is they had a pretty good riddle to upset. But like I said, sometimes when you're that big of a dog, it's just safer to take the points. But had the Texans upset, the day was on 33-date numerology. They would have become 3-3 versus Cleveland in Cleveland, and Cleveland would have fallen to 4-8 all-time against the Texans in that 33-48 there in Cleveland, and those numbers play hard in Cleveland. So there was a chance for the Texans to upset. That didn't come through. The Rams and the Colts, these are the only two games right here that you could circle that you could say we were wrong on. The Colts did cover the spread. They were a 3.5-point dog. They lost by 3. The one thing that was there that's real consistent with LA is 13. Stafford just got traded to LA. He's now in the same city with Kershaw, who we went to high school with. But had Stafford lost, he would have become 1-3 all-time against the Colts. Didn't happen, but the Colts covered the spread. So if you took those teams with the points, you did all right. The Bills and the Dolphins, there are about 4 things that lined up for the Bills, including the same number we talked about last week with the Bills. The Dolphins coach picked up his 18th loss. And Allen also became 6-1 versus the Dolphins. 61's the 18th prime. Bills 18. Last week, Roethlisberger got his 171st win of his career over the Bills. 171's the 18th triangular number. So a lot of things go back to 18 with the Bills. The Patriots and the Jets, this was my favorite riddle of the week just because of the mockery. Remember, 9/11 Patriot Act Patriots. Remember, in 1968, 33 years before 2001, 911 was made the national emergency dialing code. World Trade Center construction began. The New York Jets had their only Super Bowl winning season. Space Odyssey 2001 came out. George W. Bush graduated from Yale and Skull and Bones. 33 was a big number with 9/11. Another one was 175 because Flight 175 hit the World Trade Centers, right? Supposedly. Well, Sunday, on the 33-date numerology, Bill Belichick, as head coach of the New England Patriots, got his 33rd win against the Jets, and he became 17-5 in New York. You see? Like Flight 175. And this is nothing new, you guys. This stuff goes on all the time. All the time. Let me show you something about Belichick's stats. They changed, so we're going to have to subtract a win and loss. But I want you to see what his record was coming into this season. Bill Belichick. There's just so many. Oops, I didn't want executive. I want him as a coach. Okay. Well, it's a little bit complicated. So, do you see how there's a 245 with New England right here? Let me zoom it in more. You see how there's a 245 with New England right here? And then there's a 30 over here. He has 30 playoff wins with New England and 245 regular season wins now. So he's up to 275. So take away the win against the Jets, right? He was at 274 coming into this season. And what is the other piece of this I'm missing right now? Damn, I forgot. There's one other thought that's crucial about this, and I'm slipping on it right now. Well, anyway, God, it doesn't matter. It sort of does, but I just want you guys to understand. The Jesuits run this thing. Isus Hominum Salvator is their motto. It's abbreviated IHS, which is the 18 thing. But Isus Hominum Salvator, you see the gematria of it? 274 in the most simple cipher, 85 in the next. With regards to 85, in that same cipher, National Football League is 85, right? His old quarterback, Brady, Mr. 85, Brady. Remember when the Brady Bunch actress died and it was all synced with the Super Bowl and Tom Brady? It was a big 85 ritual. But Isus Omnem Salvator, Jesuit motto. Belichick comes into this season on this special number, this special ritual. 9/11 was a huge Jesuit ritual. You see how when you run the alphabetic order in reverse, Isus Omnem Salvator is 266? Pope Francis is the 266th Pope, the first Jesuit. You see the 122? Again, Pope Francis is 122. Just like the Jesuit motto, Isus Omnem Salvator. And don't forget that Aaron Rodgers is from the Bay Area, San Francisco, which is on the 122nd meridian and equals 122 as well. It's named after St. Francis of Assisi, like Pope Francis. Tom Brady's also from the Bay Area. But I just want you to see Aaron Rodgers' birthday. It's December 2nd, right? And then his quarterback, 12/2, like 122. That was the day of the ghost ship fire in the Bay Area on the 122nd meridian. Same thing goes on with the... Remember that ghost ship fire? They did rituals with the NBA, the NFL. We talked about all this when it happened. But look at the running back for the Packers who had all the touchdowns in the Pope Francis game. Aaron Jones, what day is his birthday? December 2nd. Aaron and Aaron born on the same day, And again, it's because most of these guys are Manchurians. They are born and bred to be. They're raised for the league. And with regards to National Football League, notice it's also got the 122 and 85 like Isus Omnem Salvator. Okay? So many rituals with these numbers. All right, Niners and Eagles. Remember the year the Eagles started 10-1 and beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl, and in week 3 we told you why the Super Bowl was going to be Eagles and Patriots, and the Eagles would start 10-1 because Philadelphia's 101 and 101's the 26th prime, and the flag was sewn in Philly? If you don't, we did. Trump took on the NFL on 23/9 over the flag protest. 239 Arch Street's where the flag was sewn in Philly. 239's the 52nd prime. That was the year of Super Bowl 52. Garoppolo got his 26th regular season win over Philly in this game. Just another 26-101 Philly ritual. Jimmy G. And don't forget, the Bay Area and Philly connected. The Athletics, the Warriors, they're both originally from Philly. Now they're in Oakland. John Gruden started out coaching in Philly, made a name for himself in Oakland. And the Liberty Bell. Liberty Bell equals 122 like San Francisco. It's from Philly. It spent a while, in San Francisco. It was taken on the train there in many years for whatever reason they had the Liberty Bell. There's something big about Philly in the Bay Area that I still haven't quite connected. I know it has to do with the Catholic Church and it being named after St. Francis of Assisi and, Philly being, named in Revelation of the Bible. There's something there, but I still don't understand it all the way. I know, though, that there's this big Philly Bay Area connection. The Raiders and Steelers. Raiders had a great chance to win this game. Thought they very well would. They were worth a shot as a dog, and it was all because of Las Vegas Gematria. Las Vegas is 86. Big Ben has gotten dominated by the Raiders. The Raiders improved to 5-2 versus Tomlin. They were already 5-2 against Big Ben coming in. Raiders 52. But the Steelers, they fell to 8-6 at home against now the Las Vegas Raiders all time. 8-6 at home. There was another 86 on the board. Tomlin was on 86 losses coming into the game. There was one more 86. But anyway, there were 3 86s up there, and that was a sign like, looks like that might be the number of the game, and that's going to go in the Raiders' favor. So, and then the Saints, Jameis Winston comes in and lays an egg and picks up his 43rd career loss against the Panthers. Remember, all the Black Panther meetings began in Catholic churches. The Black Panthers, just like Black Lives Matter, are a Catholic Jesuit creation. And it's just, you guys, this is how you know the league is rigged, right? Last week we had the Saints to upset the Packers. It was easy to see. Green Bay 77. They love 77 in Green Bay. Last night the game started off 7-7. But last week, the Saints became 7-7 in home games against Green Bay in the Jaguars Stadium, which equals 77. We thought that was golden. And then this week, I had a feeling the Saints would lay an egg and Winston would pick up that 43rd loss versus the Panthers because they love to do this ritual humiliation with black quarterbacks in Panthers games. They're the Carolina Black Panthers. That's why their greatest player in franchise history is Cam Newton, like Huey P. Newton founded the Black Panther Party. And look it up. These are all facts. Huey P. Newton equals 131. You see that? Oh, I could talk about all of his numbers because they're all important, but you see the 131? Go back and look. Huey P. Newton died in 1989 on the day leaving 131 days left in the year. Do you know who was born in 1989 on the 131st day of the year? Cam Newton. And remember who told you in October, way before Super Bowl 50, why Cam Newton would get humiliated against white Peyton Manning in Super Bowl 50 in the Bay Area where the Black Panthers were founded. You know, we were dead on about everything. We said Von Miller would be the MVP, number 58. Because, see, Huey P. Newton also 58. Again, you guys, it's just... Cam Newton became the 58th quarterback to start in a Super Bowl, by the way. Huey P. Newton, 58 in the most pure. It's just... And Von Miller was taking one pick after Cam Newton, number 58. So we had the Broncos over the Panthers. Von Miller is MVP in October of that season. We knew who the Super Bowl MVP was. It was too easy. White Broncos, racism, O.J. Simpson, the football player, the white Bronco chase. It's all a script. It's all theatrics. And with regards to the Broncos and Jaguars, 2 weeks in a row telling you the same thing about Jaguars. When 66 is on the board in a Jaguars game, it's free money. In week 1, the Jaguars fell to 6-6, I believe, on the road. It was on the road in week 1, and they did that against the Houston Texans, which also equals 66. This week, they fell to 6-6 versus the Broncos, and I believe that was in home games. The Jaguars fell to 6-6 at home all time against the Broncos. 66 in the Jaguars. Again, if you guys are new here, I've been educating about this for years. Back in the day, I just put out everything for free on YouTube. I mean, if my channels haven't been deleted, you'd be able to go back to videos from 6-7 years ago talking about the Jaguars in 66. Remember, that's a big number in the NFL. In Jewish Gematria, NFL is 66. Like the first season was the first Super Bowl season was the 66th season of the NFL. 66 is the 11th triangular number. Football 11 on 11. The Cardinals and the Vikings. If you go back to, I started this video at the beginning. Look at, you can see on the screen, I have this thing about 106. And I show how Darnold's throwing 106 days after his birthday in Charlotte, North Carolina, 106. Zimmer's coaching 106 days after his birthday and can pick up his 52nd loss. I'm talking about how 52 and 106 come together. Here, I'll show you where these notes are. They are they're password protected for Patreon members. But here, I just want you to see what I document about the week. And realize all this stuff was up before a single game was played, right? But 106, I said the 106 looks like it could be a real big number this week. And it appears 106 could be a big league-wide theme. So we got Darnold with the 106 connection. We got Zimmer. It doesn't look good for him with the 106. Again, if you guys are new here, 106 and 52 come together all the time. There's just patterns that you recognize. This is all pattern recognition. The Seahawks were 10-6 versus the Titans in the regular season. Tennessee 106. And like we talked about, they very well could fall to 10-7 because that's a big number in Seattle. You know, Russell Wilson's contract when he did it, his last renewal was a big 107 ritual. Remember, Russell Wilson was so pumped up to talk about the death of his friend at age 48 after Seahawks 48, won Super Bowl 48, you know what I mean? Guy's a sick psychopath. He's like a wind-up toy. But, you know, what else is on here? Mahomes is 10-5 in prime time, could fall to 10-6, and boy, did he ever. In the Black Lives Matter Black Week. Black 106, Black Lives Matter 106. And again, this is the power of this knowledge and understanding that the games are scripted and rigged. All the people that go out there and go against me and say, no, they couldn't do that. All you're doing is cheating yourself of the truth. And you're cheating yourself of all this free money too. That's the other thing you're doing out there, loser. You probably went out and got your vaccine because you're a fucking retard. Telling you, the only people who got the vaccine are the same type of people that can't see through pro sports, that can't see through the nightly news, the bullshit, politics, all this stuff, because it's just obvious bullshit every day. Nothing changes. You got to be a fucking retard to not see through all this shit. I'm not saying you're fucking retarded if you didn't figure out Gematria and how all this is connected. That takes some intelligence, something yours truly has. But still, I mean, since I was a child, I was able to see that all these games are bullshit. 9/11, Patriot Act, Patriots, unathletic Tom Brady just having his way with the NFL, a game of speed, agility, athleticism. I mean, this stuff doesn't make any fucking sense. You got to be retarded. Yeah, he can throw the ball nice. He can throw the ball to a spot. Again, I say it all the time. So can a million people in this world, including yours truly. I can throw a ball nicer than I can do Gematria. But anyway, Cardinals take the Vikings. The Bucks and the Falcons, there were several things there for Brady. He wasn't going to lose to the Falcons. But you see how Atlanta's 69 in the most simple cipher? This game was on a 69 date numerology, and Bruce Arians... Don't you love how Bruce Arians has all black assistants, but he's the Aryan leader? Anyway, he got his 69th win in this game over Atlanta on the 69 date numerology. And look at the score of the game, too, in the week of the Pope. The Falcons go down with 25. We said that this whole week looked like it was about the Pope. Remember, he blessed Super Bowl 51, where Brady beat the Falcons on 2/5 with a 25-point comeback. And again, Pope is 25 and Falcons is 25. And don't forget that was the 97th NFL season, because 97 is the 25th prime, and Bill Belichick was the winning Super Bowl coach that year. So... And who hosted Super Bowl 51? The Houston Texans for another 51. The next year Minnesota hosted Super Bowl 52. They do this stuff a lot. Cowboys and Chargers. This game was razor thin, but I said if you have to do it in a pick'em, take the Cowboys because advantage black QBs. And the reason it was tricky is because the 43 could have gone for Dak or against him. Chargers is 43, right? Dak got his 43rd regular season win in this game. He could have stayed on it with his all-time wins, and usually the regular season's a little bit better, so I was ever so slightly leaning a little bit more towards the Cowboys, but it was close, because it's when a number can go either way, that's when it can be dangerous. But Chargers is 43, and in that same most pure cipher, Dallas Cowboys is 43. Football's 43. So Dak picked up his 43rd regular season win. By the way, you guys, 20-17, 37 points in Los Angeles. And if you want to know the most important part about this game and Dallas winning there, we've been talking about how WrestleMania is in Dallas this year. What have I been teaching you guys for years about WrestleMania and the Super Bowl and WWE and the NFL and how it's all rigged together? I love that Herbert had 41 attempts in this game. Dallas 41, LA 41, Kobe Bryant dead at 41. LeBron, the king, big Cowboys fan, you know what I mean? But Herbert with the 41 attempts. But here, that's not actually what I wanted to show you. What I wanted to show you was the winning score. Did you guys see the winning score? Was there anything interesting about this winning score right here? How long was Greg Zuerlein's field goal? Man, it was 56 yards. Isn't that interesting? A 56-yard game winner. Man. What stadium is Super Bowl 56 in? You guys know? What stadium is it in again this year? Super Bowl 56? And if you go back and look, there's two teams that play in that stadium that the Super Bowl's in it. One of them might be the Chargers. I know the other one's the Los Angeles Rams. But the Rams, the first team they hosted in that stadium was who? Oh, it was the Cowboys. And who was the first team that the Chargers hosted in that stadium? Happened to be the Chiefs, Cowboys, and Indians, huh? It's interesting. It's a narrative. I love it. 11 plays, 49 yards, ends with a 56-yard field goal. You know why that's wild? Let me show you something. WrestleMania Dallas date. Okay, it's April 3rd, right? 4-3. Dallas Cowboys 43. Chargers 43. But look at this. The Super Bowl's been moved to February 13th because they extended the 17-game season. But do you remember what day it was going to be originally? It was originally scheduled for February 6th. And then they moved it to 213 in the 213 area code. It was always meant to be. But February 6th to April 3rd, 2021. I want you to see something about that. Isn't that funny that the original Super Bowl 56 was 56 days before WrestleMania in Dallas, and now they kicked a 56-yard field goal to win the damn game in the stadium the Super Bowl is going to be in? And you're going, well, but what about how they moved it to February 13th? Okay, 49 days. 49 days. Let me see. Dallas, 49. NFL, 49. America, 49. I remember when the 49ers scored 49 points over the Chargers in Super Bowl 49. Yesterday I was at the fish counter at the supermarket, and this guy, he had his 49ers hat on. He had a 49ers vest on, and under it, he had a 49ers shirt. And I was like, oh, man, they don't mind you wearing your 49ers gear here, huh? We're in Washington State, right? Mostly Seahawks fans. He goes, oh, no, they let me wear it. I said, my dad would like you, man. He's a big Niner fan. He goes, who do you cheer for, the Hawks? I said, oh, I don't cheer for any of them. He's like, why not? I said, man, because it's all rigged. He's like, what? I said, how can you not know it's all rigged? And he's like, is it? I was like, come on, man. Well, what happened to your team in Super Bowl 54? And he thought about it. He's like, we lost to the Chiefs. I said, who played for the Chiefs and the Niners? And he thought about it for a second. He's like, Joe Montana. I said, did he play for any other teams? And then we thought about it for a second. I said, I'm pretty sure the only other one he played for is Notre Dame. I said, do you remember what jersey number Montana wore for the Chiefs? And he thought about it, and then he guessed the wrong number. He guessed 12 because he's probably thinking Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers. I said he wore 19 for the Chiefs, and that was the 2019 season. I said I teach about something called Gematria. I said, if you learn Gematria, you'll know that Joe Montana equals 54, and that whole season was synced with him, and that's why the Chiefs won the 2019 season over between his two teams. And so then he got into it, man. He started asking me some questions about the games, and we had a nice little conversation yesterday. He said he's going to check it all out. So I think we got a new recruit yesterday. But again, you guys, I've been explaining for years, these games are scripted. The box score, the final score, the hash mark, and again, an 11-play, 49-yard drive that ends with a 56-yard field goal. This shit's not an accident, man. And, if Tom Brady, I'd tell you guys today, if Tom Brady was out of the league, I'd say the Cowboys are a lock for the Super Bowl. But unfortunately, old fart Tom is still there. Bionic Tom. But, this stuff's not an accident, you guys. And it's following the riddles week in and week out that's allowed us over the years to call futures as we have consistently across all sports, college and pro. And again, you can continue to delude the truth and deny the truth and tell yourself that this isn't rigged and this is impossible, or you can just pay attention to what they do week after week and say, man, this shit is really fucking rigged, because it is. And, coming back to the games, the rigged games, we got a few more to go after. The Titans and the Hawks, we talked about it. Seattle dropped to 10-7. The Ravens and the Chiefs, we talked about it. And what did I tell you about last week was SNF? I told you, it's 39, right? Historically, the number on SNF is 39. This is what I put out for free for you last week. Mahomes stayed on 39 career wins in this game. He came in with 39. He stayed on 39 in SNF. You see? Last week on SNF, the Bears lost for the 39th time to the Rams, and Dalton got his 39th career road loss in SNF. This week, Mahomes comes in on 39 wins, stays there, and falls to 10-6 in the week that was all about 106. You see? And then Lions and Packers, we started there, so you know that. Now, with regards to college football, we dominated college football, but there's not a lot to brag about because it was mostly a week of favorites, and favorites won. But for the second week in a row, we loved BYU as a dog. Fresno State had a great shot, too, and they won. But here, let's just go over the games. Alabama, Florida. How many times have I taught you guys about Alabama 31-13? How many times have I said if it's not 13, it's 31 with Alabama? I mean, those words, just even in public live streams, have probably come out of my mouth 100 times in the last 8 years. I've talked so much about Alabama 31-13. Alabama's first game of the season, they won by 31, right? Now, big game with Florida, 31. Back in the day, all I knew was Alabama 31-13. 31-13, Alabama all day. And Alabama was lock city in this game. The reason why is this was the 43rd meeting between these teams, the 43rd. And you see how football's 29-43? Alabama picked up their 29th win in this game in the 43rd meeting of the teams. How many points did Florida lose with? 29, right? And that means Florida stayed on 14 wins in the 43rd meeting. 43 is the 14th prime number. Georgia over South Carolina was no-brainer. So was Oklahoma. So was Oregon. Iowa took Kent State. No surprises there. Clemson over Georgia Tech. No surprise. Texas A&M over New Mexico. All these games, Cincinnati had the riddle to beat Indiana. Indiana fell to 5-2 versus Cincy, and the Indiana coach got their 24th loss. So first the 5-2. Indiana fell to 5-2 versus Cincinnati. Or, excuse me. Yeah, that's right. Or no, am I getting it backwards? Cincy improved to 5-2 over Indiana. That's what it was. They improved to 5-2 over Indiana. But the Indiana coach got the 24th loss versus the Bearcats, the Cincinnati Bearcats. You see? Most pure cipher. Ohio State over Tulsa, no-brainer. Ohio State was a 25-point favorite in this game. They didn't cover, but the coach got the 25th win. 25-point favorite. Penn State. This is the 152nd college football season. We like Penn State. Penn State's having a year. You want to know why? It's right here. Pennsylvania, 152. Michigan's also another 152. But you know how Penn State's called the Nittany Lions? Nittany Lions, 152. What a name for the 152nd college football season. And they're off to a great start. Upsetting Wisconsin on the road, beating Auburn. Notre Dame coach got his 105th win over the Purdue Boilermakers, 105. Fresno State upset UCLA. And what I told my community is I said, this game was a little bit iffy, but I thought Fresno State had a good shot to upset, and they were worth a bet because they were a huge payout. They were an 11-point dog. But again, this is mostly thanks to ESPN. UCLA did fall to 4-3 at home versus Fresno State all time. Fresno State is 43 in the most pure cipher, football 43. But to me, the bigger clue for this was ESPN this week, because ESPN talked a lot about Chip Kelly this week and how good he's looking this year and how they think he's going to turn the corner this year with UCLA, and this is going to be Chip Kelly's year again. And there was just way too much hype and focus on Chip Kelly and how things are looking so great right now for Chip Kelly. The news media, all it does to you every single day, whether it's ESPN or CNN or Fox News, it doesn't matter. All the news does to you every day, ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox, all it does to you every day is lie to you. It lies to you every day. It doesn't do anything else in your life besides lie to you. Needless fear, needless information, nothing but bullshit, nothing but agendas. That's why they were so focused on how great things are looking for Chip Kelly as he loses as a big favorite to Fresno State. You see? Same shit. Every day. Turn on ESPN. Here, you don't even need to learn Gematria. You guys want to know how to gamble from now on? Just turn it on ESPN and just bet against everything they're saying for the day. You'll win pretty much every single day. And the reason that people don't figure out that is because they're under mind control. That's why they can't see through any of the obvious lies. They can't see through rigged sports. They can't see through the obvious lies of 9/11. They can't see through the obvious lies of every election. This supposed pandemic. They can't see through any of it because they're under some kind of mind control, brainwashing trauma. UNLV fell to 1-5 versus Iowa State. These aren't teams that meet that much, but UNLV 15 in the most pure. There was something else with that game. No surprise though. Iowa State was a huge favorite. Iowa State wins with 48 points. I mean, look at Iowa, 48, right? 21. Last week we had the Iowa State upset, right? Because it was all about 21 in the 2021 season with the game the week before. Iowa beat Iowa State. And you see how Iowa State improved to 2-1 and dropped to UNLV to 1-5 all time. Again, that's why you got to recognize the ciphers forwards and backwards. 1-5 all time, improved to 2-1 versus UNLV. You see that? Plus Iowa 21 with the 48 points. The Virginia Tech coach stayed on 66 wins versus West Virginia. West Virginia 66 in the most pure. I switched the letters around, but hold on. Let me spell it right. West Virginia, there it is. West Virginia 66 in the most pure. Coastal Carolina, this was all about 3. They got their 3rd win over the Buffalo Bulls. The Bulls coach fell to 1-2. Bulls, 3rd win over the Bulls, 33. Remember, they did a lot of 33-3 shit with Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan's Mr. 33. That's the Chicago Bulls. This is the Buffalo Bulls. Bulls coach fell to 1-2. I can't remember what it was for the Ole Miss Tulane game, but it was a no-brainer. They had a good riddle. Am I tripping with Ole Miss in 61? Do they have a... What is it about Ole Miss? I can't remember what it is. They have some connection to 61. I forget what it is. It doesn't matter. I forget what it was for that game. No surprise there. And then BYU, 2 weeks in a row. We're loving BYU. I had to go against my Arizona State Sun Devils. That's where I went to college, but I wasn't thinking Arizona State was going to win or cheering for my team. I never cheered for... I never even cared about our football team, even when I went to school there, but... The BYU coach, 2 weeks in a row. Last week we had him beating Utah. This week we had him upsetting ASU. He's an underdog 2 weeks in a row. It was this simple. He got his 41st win over ASU. 41. It was that simple right there. Arkansas is killing this year. I think it has something to do with it being the 2021 season. Arkansas in the most pure, 21. Arkansas smashing this year. And North Carolina, the coach got the 86th win. There was a couple things there, but it was fitting to pick up that 86th win in Chapel Hill, 86th land. And college football game that I leaned the wrong way on, Michigan State, Miami. The 13 could have gone either way. You got two teams starting with the M, the 13th letter. A lot of 13 stuff goes down in Miami. And the 13 could go either way in this game. It ended up going in Michigan State's favor. I was leaning towards Miami. But that was about the only low light there. The Michigan coach Harbaugh, he picked up the win that equates with Huskies. Got his 52nd win, Huskies 52. Smashed them. And, we'll see if it ends up being a battle of the 152s in the Big Ten in the 152nd college football season. But yeah, it's, again, you learn this knowledge. You'll have no doubt that college and pro are rigged every week because you can just prove it. You can see what's going to happen in the majority of games before they happen. And then when the scores land, you're like, God, those are the exact numbers I'm talking about, So. And there's always some dummy that's like, okay, then call this. Listen, retard. Pay attention, dumbass. For 8 years, we've been calling what's going to happen before it happens. I don't need to call another fucking thing to prove anything, you fucking loser. I'm not talking to everybody, but I'm talking to the incompetent retards that always leave the same fucking comments as if I need to call any more shit. Nobody's ever called more in the history of the world. Scratch Nostradamus out as the name for calling things. What's Nostradamus' resume compared to mine? Not shit. I don't even know what Nostradamus called that was actually interesting. You start looking at Nostradamus stuff, you're like, that's kind of vague. That sounds kind of like a load of bullshit. Look at the stuff we've called. Dead on, super specific, right to the number. Do it day after day. You know what I mean? The lessons I teach, you can use them later the same day and every other day for the rest of your life. So if you're not signed up for the Patreon, again, you're cheap and you're cheating yourself as well. I really should have 1 million people signed up a month at $5 a month. I should make about $5 million a month off this knowledge. And trust me, if I was making that much, Vegas would be losing billions every single week. And they would have to switch up the system. But honestly, we do need those kind of resources coming in. We need $5 million coming in a week so we can compete with all the propaganda networks and the federal governments and get out the word about the agendas and shut all this shit down. It's not about rigged sports. It's about ending this Jesuit tyranny that's fucking up our lives as people sit there on their ass with their thumb up their ass, just going along with it, man. Well, at least I got my rigged football to watch. I don't have any rights and liberties anymore, and I have no sovereignty over my body, but at least Alabama's still on. Go Crimson Tide. It's the problem with the nation. Then they run down for another $5 cheesy pizza from Little Caesars. You didn't need that. That's just bringing you closer to the grave. You needed to invest in the movement to end the tyranny before there's nothing left to end but us. Anyway, Truth Seeker, we'll leave it there for now. And until next time.